Have you ever felt trapped inside your own mind, where every thought tells you you'll never succeed? What if I told you that those thoughts are not your enemy, but a challenge you can overcome? Today, I'm going to tell you a story that will show you exactly how to defeat them. Ayan was 22, freshly out of college, full of dreams that seemed larger than life. He imagined himself standing on stages, speaking to crowds, building a career that mattered. But reality had other plans. Every job he applied for ended in rejection. Every plan he made fell apart before it could even start. His confidence, once steady and bright, flickered like a dying candle. And then, one day, it happened. A rejection letter came in that crushed him more than the others. This one was for an internship he had poured his heart into, an opportunity he had believed in with every fiber of his being. He sat on the cold floor of his small apartment, staring at the envelope, the words on it blurred by tears. The weight of disappointment was unbearable, and the negative thoughts that had been simmering in the background now roared like a storm. You'll never succeed. You're a failure. Maybe you're just not meant to be happy. For days, Ayan did nothing. He barely ate, barely slept, barely existed. He avoided calls from friends, ignored messages from family, and sank deeper into the pit of his own mind. Every mirror became an enemy, every reflection a reminder of what he wasn't. And then, in the silence of one sleepless night, he remembered something his grandfather used to say. His grandfather, a man of quiet wisdom, had always told him, "Ayan, the mind is a garden. What you water grows. Tend to it well, or it will be overrun with weeds." At first, Ayan laughed at the memory. Weeds? Gardens? What could that possibly mean when the world had knocked him down so many times? But the seed of curiosity had been planted, and sometimes that seed is enough to begin a transformation. The next morning, Ayan decided to take a walk. The city was waking up, people rushing past him, lost in their own chaos. As he walked, he noticed small things he had overlooked for so long. The chirping of birds perched on electric wires, the morning sun reflecting off windows like shards of gold, a mother holding her child's hand as they crossed the street. And for the first time in weeks, he felt a flicker of something inside him, a spark. Could life really be this simple, even amidst so much pain? Days turned into weeks, and Ayan began a quiet experiment with himself. He decided he would try to observe his thoughts, not fight them, not suppress them, just watch them. He noticed that negative thoughts were like unwelcome visitors. They barged in uninvited, demanded attention, and left him drained. But when he acknowledged them, without letting them control his actions, something miraculous began to happen. Slowly, he started replacing his doubts with discipline. When he felt fear, he acted anyway. When he felt unworthy, he did one small thing to prove to himself that he mattered. He began waking up early, exercising, reading, and setting tiny, achievable goals. Each step was a battle, but each step was also a victory. Then came the real test. Ayan's father had been unwell, and the medical bills were mounting. His family depended on him, but he still had no stable income. The negative thoughts returned, fiercer than ever, whispering that he wasn't capable of providing, that he was destined to fail. One evening, he sat alone on the rooftop of his apartment, staring at the twinkling city lights below. The wind whispered through his hair, and for a long moment, he felt utterly powerless. But then, he remembered something else his grandfather had said. Courage is not the absence of fear, Ayan. Courage is feeling the fear and choosing to act anyway. Ayan took a deep breath. He made a decision, not a loud, heroic decision, but a quiet, resolute one. He would not let fear dictate his life. That night, he wrote a plan. He wrote down his goals, the steps he could take, and the skills he needed to acquire. He started learning online, reaching out to mentors, and taking even the smallest jobs that aligned with his dreams. Every rejection still hurt, but now it didn't stop him. It was simply feedback, a signpost guiding him to the right path. Weeks turned into months, and slowly the change became undeniable. Ion had learned something powerful. Honesty with oneself and discipline in action are the antidotes to negative thoughts. Every time a dark thought crept in, he faced it, named it, and then moved forward anyway. He realized that his mind, which he once thought was his enemy, was actually his greatest tool, if only he tended it carefully, like his grandfather had said. Then came the moment that changed everything. A small startup noticed Ion's relentless work ethic, his discipline, his perseverance, and they offered him a position far beyond what he had imagined possible. The first day he walked into the office, he felt a surge of gratitude, not just for the job, but for the journey, the rejections, the tears, the sleepless nights, the relentless negative thoughts that had once controlled him. Every struggle had led him here. Every setback had been a step forward. But the story doesn't end there. Ion didn't just stop at personal success. He began sharing his journey with others, mentoring young people who felt trapped by fear and doubt. He told them about the power of observing your thoughts, the magic of small, consistent actions, and the courage it takes to face fear head-on. He became a living testament to one universal truth: the mind can be your greatest prison, or it can be your most powerful ally. You see, the lesson here is simple, yet profound. Life will throw challenges at you. Negative thoughts will try to chain you. Fear will whisper in your ear that you're not enough. But the moment you understand that your mind is like a garden, that every thought you feed grows stronger, you reclaim your power. Honesty, discipline, and a resilient mindset are not just abstract ideas. They are the tools that can reshape your life. They are what turn a struggling young man sitting alone on a rooftop into someone who inspires others, someone who rises again and again, no matter how many times life knocks him down. Ask yourself, what are the weeds in your mind today? What negative thoughts are you watering by giving them attention, by letting them dictate your actions? And what if instead you chose to plant seeds of discipline, courage, and honesty? What if you acted in small, deliberate ways every single day to nurture the best version of yourself? Imagine the person you could become a year from now, 5 years from now, a lifetime from now. It all starts with one decision, the decision to refuse to let your mind control you, the decision to stand even when the ground feels unstable, the decision to act even when fear screams at you to stay frozen. Ion's story reminds us that victory is not reserved for the naturally gifted or the lucky few. Victory belongs to those who fight, those who endure, those who choose to rise despite the darkness. And it all begins in the mind. The battlefield is internal, but the rewards are eternal. Your thoughts can either imprison you or they can liberate you. Discipline is the sword that cuts through doubt. Honesty is the light that exposes fear for what it really is. And courage, the quiet, persistent courage, is what allows you to walk through the storm and come out stronger on the other side. So right now, I want you to take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you need to and feel your heartbeat. Know that every negative thought you've had does not define you. Know that every setback, every failure, every fear is simply a part of the journey. And then ask yourself this question: am I willing to fight for my mind, for my life, for my dreams? If the answer is yes, even just quietly yes, then the work begins. Start small. Start today. Plant one seed of positivity, one act of discipline, one moment of honesty, and watch as slowly, steadily, your life transforms. Remember, it's not the absence of struggle that defines success. It's the courage to move forward despite it. Your mind is the battlefield, but you are the warrior. And every time you face a negative thought, every time you choose action over fear, you are winning. Ion won not because life was easy, but because he refused to let his thoughts control him. And so can you. If this story moved you, if it reminded you of the strength that already exists within you, then let it be more than a story you listen to.
Let it be the spark that ignites your journey. Subscribe to Life Lessons Library for more stories that will challenge your mind, touch your heart, and empower your soul. Join a community of learners, fighters, and dreamers who refuse to let fear or doubt dictate the course of their lives. Because your story, just like Ion's, has the potential to inspire, to uplift, and to transform not only your life, but the lives of everyone around you. So rise, stand tall, face your thoughts, tend your garden, and remember this: the power to defeat negative thoughts, the power to reclaim your life has always been inside you. You only need to choose it.